relates to one student or our staff that serve our students. It is important that in the last 4 hours, this city, this community has come together in behalf of our students that are in the regular schools, our students that are in the charter schools that are authorized by this school board. We are taking all sorts of precautions. Our plant managers are walking the campus with law enforcement people. Our plant managers and principals with law enforcement are looking at all of our schools, both small, large schools, etc. We have made sure that our parents are notified through ConnectEd messages, and we have repeated that time and time again. Those students that walk to school, especially young children, neighborhood children, we have had the principals meet and administrators meet them at the gate of the school, and they were not dismissed until parents came to pick them up, a guardian, etc. We are doing everything possible to make sure that children are safe, but that also students and parents understand that the precautions we are taking are done in a calming way, are done in a way that is in the best interest of everybody in this particular city. Not only is it the city of LA, as you know, the school district represents many independent cities, and we have reached out to them also. There are unincorporated areas in this school district that we have reached out to. I have reached out to the Board of Supervisors. I've reached out to the City Council. I've notified the State Superintendent of Schools. I have notified the Secretary of Education. Mainly because there are no secrets. Somebody has sent information that leads us to pause and make sure that we are safe, that our children and our staff are safe. Nobody could be more interested in this city than our mayor. Our mayor and his staff has joined us early this morning, and our mayor is here now. I'd like to turn it over to him.
Thank you very much, Mr. Superintendent. Good morning, everybody. The decision to close the schools is not mine to make, but it is mine to support as mayor of the city of Los Angeles. Since San Bernardino, we have seen whether it was our colleagues there who asked for the help of the Los Angeles Police Department as that shooting unfolded, or this morning when LAUSD reached out to the Los Angeles Police Department and the city of LA for assistance. We are here because our first job is to ensure that people are safe in this city. It is very easy for people to jump to conclusions, and I've been around long enough to know that usually what people think in the first few hours is not necessarily how it plays out in later hours. We see investigations unfold sometimes for a series of days, but decisions need to be made in a matter of minutes. I have been immediately on the phone when we learned of this with Phil Washington, the CEO of MTA, to ensure that students could travel free on our buses and our rail lines today, to ensure they can get home safely, to make sure that they are able to get through this city without having to worry, because we know a lot of parents still have to continue to get to work and can't even afford to miss one day. But we are here, Chief Beck and I, was local law enforcement here through LAPD's very extensive and experienced training and leadership that connected some of the dots nationally on this. We of course reached out, and the school district reached out immediately to our federal law enforcement officials who have been extra taxed in recent weeks since San Bernardino, but to bring them into this investigation. But also it was in talking to our counterparts in New York and learning of other places where now we realize this was not the only city to face that threat. We will continue to hope that this is nothing and that our children can be back at school tomorrow. But as a parent and as a mayor, certainly I'm here to support this school district as it seeks our help to ensure that we can look at each one of these campuses and make sure that they are safe for all of our children. And an abundance of caution is something that I think all of us who have children appreciate. So we will be here, continue to be here. We have also activated the city's Emergency Operations Center at level 1, which is our lowest level but constant staffing, to make sure that we can follow this, continue to share any intelligence, work with our federal law enforcement officials, and do whatever the school district asks of us. My number one priority is keeping this city safe, and I will continue to do that. No matter who reaches out to us, we have incredibly well-trained police force. And one last thing I would say to the people of LA, whether this pans out as something that could have happened or not, and we might not ever be able to conclude that definitively, I do not want people to say, because sometimes things don't result in a shooting or don't result in a foiled plot, to not speak up and to not speak out. We need to continue to have people, if you see something, say something. Visit iwatchla.com and learn how you can be more vigilant. As we continue to live our lives here in the city of Los Angeles and the values that we hold of freedom, of our liberty, we want to make sure also that we are safe. También brevemente en español yo quiero decir, estamos aquí a apoyar el distrito escolar con esta situación. Como un padre, como el alcalde de la ciudad de Los Ángeles, es muy importante apoyar este distrito con la seguridad de nuestros hijos. Estamos aquí a proveer estos oficiales del Departamento de Policía. Es mi esperanza que este no es una amenaza creíble, pero estamos aquí a proteger nuestros niños y continuaremos con esta misión. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Chief Beck, I'd like to call on you next.
Thank you, Superintendent. Very late last night, the Los Angeles Police Department was contacted by LA Unified School Police Chief Zipperman about a very specific threat that had been delivered via email to a number of the people on the school board. After reviewing that threat, we became very concerned, contacted the FBI, and began to work jointly through our Joint Terrorism Task Force to try to vet that threat and to be able to give the school board and the superintendent our best advice on moving forward. We were able to do that. The superintendent made a decision. We support his decision, as does the mayor. I would say this to people that are critical. It is very easy, in hindsight, to criticize a decision based on results that the decider could never have known. It is also very easy to criticize a decision when you have no responsibility for the outcome of that decision. The school district safeguards 750,000 lives every day. When they make a decision, they have to take into account the safety of the children of Los Angeles. I think it's irresponsible to, based on facts that have yet to be determined, to criticize that decision at this point. All of us make tough choices. All of us have the same goal in mind. We want to keep our kids safe. These are tough times. These communities, our community, Southern California, has been through a lot in the recent weeks. Should we risk putting our children through the same? I'm also joined by my partner in law enforcement here, the other half of what keeps the region safe, Sheriff Jim McDonnell, and if it's okay with Ray, I'd love to have Jim say a few words.
Speak. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Just here to be able to, I guess, add a note of reassurance that we're working very closely together. Once we became aware of this issue, we immediately became in contact. We have co-located our representatives in the Emergency Operations Center, and we then strategically from there start vetting the information that's available to us, working with all of our partners at the federal, state, and local level. We are blessed that in this region we have great relationships, and when we have the need, we come together in a way that I think you would all be very proud of, although we don't and can't really talk about it. A lot of work is being done to be able to run this to ground, and we're working together to ensure that the 700,000 young people who go to LA Unified are safe, and that we continue to move forward with that common goal in mind. So I thank you for your understanding and for working with us as we deal with this very difficult issue. Thank you.
Thank you. I want you to meet the Chief of School Police, Mr. Zipperman, and then I will turn it over to the board president to introduce the board.
Good afternoon. I just want to say again to all of my law enforcement colleagues, Sheriff McDonald, Chief Beck, Honorable Mayor, as indicated before, sometimes we have to make tough decisions, as it's already been stated. I assure you that our number one priority is the safety and security of not only our students, but our staff as well. We go based on the information that we have, and we collaborate with our law enforcement partners, and LAPD now is taking the lead on this as a result of the threat as normal protocol. I assure you as the Chief of Police of this school district that while our campuses are having a walkthrough as we speak, that none of our schools will be reopened until not only I feel that we have been given the information through those folks that are out there in the field right now checking each location, but the information that I will receive based on LAPD's continued investigation, based on the collaboration and communication with Sheriff McDonald, Chief Beck, and certainly our federal partners, and then finally the briefing and concurrence with the superintendent and the Board of Education. At that time is when we will make a decision to open up our schools, and we will not do that until we are completely satisfied that we have taken every measure possible to ensure the safety of our students. Thank you.
Board President.
Good morning. I want to thank the mayor, the chief, the sheriff, our chief of police, and especially our superintendent of schools. On behalf of the entire board, and the entire board is gathered here in solidarity with this decision and in support of everyone who is working and has been working through the night to keep our children, our schools safe so that they can return to be the anchors of our community. I want you to know also, on behalf of the board, that I've never been prouder to be an Angelino than I have been over the last few hours. This entire city has come together around our children, around their families. This is not an easy situation. This is a difficult day for families in Los Angeles. This is a difficult day for teachers who want nothing more than to teach our kids and to give hope for the future. But I want you to know that the only thing that is more important to this Board of Education, to our superintendent, to all of the civic leaders that are gathered here today, the only thing that is more important than the education of our children is the safety of our children. And we will make sure that that safety is assured, working together as all of us have. I want to say again to the leadership of our community, our labor partners who have stepped up in every way this morning, our business community, we will need your patience, we will need your understanding, not only for our schools and our teachers, but most especially for our families. More than being employees today, more than any other role, our parents and guardians need to be parents and guardians. So as we move forward throughout the day, we will work with and continue to work with the superintendent, his team, and our law enforcement partners, and we will make sure that we will do everything that we can to help you do your job. And we thank you for keeping our communities informed and engaged and making sure that we will be able to continue with the business of public education in Los Angeles. Superintendent?
I want the media and the press to know that I've instructed Mrs. Haber, the district's communication officer, to issue half-hour information briefs for the rest of the day. So there may be some of them that say we don't have anything new, but I want everybody to know as much as possible. I want you to know we are not going to take questions. This is an investigation. The investigation is not complete, and when the city police, who have charge of the investigation, decide that information is available, we will make that information available to you. But we will have no comment until then. Ms. Haber, though, will release updates every half hour. Thank you very much.
Do you still believe this to be a credible threat?
Don't you have a responsibility to tell people all their kids out of school today, and you can't tell us more about the threat, about exactly what led to this decision? You can't answer any questions.
I'm George McKenna. I'm the Vice President of the Board. Superintendent indicated we would not be answering questions now, but I wanted to say something. This is not a day of wasted time. Students would prefer to be in school, but this is an educational process right now. Students have learned today, and parents have learned, how much we value them, how much we value students. This is an educational experience, that they're more valuable to us than any other people in this world, that our children's safety is important enough for us to take this extreme step. We know it's extreme, but we take it with a heart, we take it with the support of law enforcement, and the belief that we're doing the right thing. To do otherwise might be unfortunate. But rather than maybe, we want to do what we know is possible. We cannot divulge everything you'd like to know, and I'm sure we'd be here for a long time with you asking questions. But we will not be able to do that. What we want you to know, to the parents, as soon as possible, we will be back in school. Schools will always be here, and this is an educational experience. Teach your children that we do this on their behalf, not to give them a day out of school. Some of them may enjoy a day out of school, but this is not a good thing. This is a thing that we have to do on their behalf. Thank you for your interest.
I'm sorry, you guys
I'm sorry, you are asking questions that we will not ask. We will not answer your questions.
Buenos días, tardes. Soy Mónica García. Quiero brevemente agradecer al alcalde, al jefe de policía, a nuestro sheriff.
All right, guys, I'm going to try to move over on the side because I know people are continuing to shoot this press conference here. But just to give you a recap of what happened, many people up here stress that the only thing more important than the children's education is their safety. That's why they were pulled out of school today. They did not talk about the threat itself, though, and if, in hindsight, it was a credible threat. Superintendent Ramon Cortines did say he doesn't regret shutting the schools down. Garcetti talked about how he ensured the students could go home safely. Chief Charlie Beck and Jim McDonnell also spoke briefly. They talked about how the threat was delivered to a number of people on the board, but again, they did not really talk about the threat itself. And if hindsight,